So last week we discussed about social guidance, health guidance. What else?
Moral.
Yes, Bata? What do you remember?
Moral guidance.
Moral guidance, yeah. Okay. And we discussed about the tertiary, the objectives of primary guidance, secondary guidance, and tertiary guidance. Did we discuss? Hello?
Yes, madam, we discussed.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to show you a small video. Wait, want to share it? Okay. Now let me know whether you can hear it. Can you hear and can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now here you can see this is under social guidance. So there are two characters. You want to watch it carefully and you have to tell me how do these two children behave and what are the reasons for the problems of their social guidance. So social guidance is that social guidance helps the individuals to understand him or herself. It gives us self-understanding. Then it helps us to know how to get on with others, learn manners, ethics, manage leisure time activities, practice social skills, develop family and family relationships, understand social roles and responsibilities. So therefore, just watch this. There are two girls and tell me what that one has some characteristics and some one is lacking these. So then what are the reasons for that girl to face this situation, and okay, whatever you feel about the story. Okay.
It's a little late for tears, isn't it, Barbara? Even though you didn't know it was going to happen today, you've still had your whole life to prepare for it. Of course, you've gotten into the habit of not being prepared. And now it's a little late, isn't it? You're a creature of habit, Barbara. We all are. Unfortunately, not all of your habits are good ones. This was how your day started. Started wrong. Your neighbor, Helen, is a creature of habit, too. But she got up when the alarm went off. Because, Barbara, that's what she really had in mind when she said it. Helen has trained herself to know what she's going to do, in what order, and where the things are to do it with. She really doesn't have to think about it. She already knows what clothes she's going to wear today. As it turned out, it was a special day for Helen, too. But she makes a habit of being ready for special days. She starts by having a place for things and keeping them there. She uses taste in selecting her clothes. But more than that, she keeps them clean and mended. And she's able to match the right skirt with the right sweater. This was going to be a special day for you, but you hadn't gotten very far with your preparations for it. Was your whole family asleep? No, your mother was up. Had been for an hour.
Barbara! Barbara, get up. You'll be late for school.
Does she have to do this every morning, Barbara?
Barbara, do you hear me?
If your mother stopped acting like a second alarm clock for even one day, you'd probably think it was a dirty...
Pete's sake, I hear you. I'm up.
You didn't seem at all appreciative. Even if you're not really well-mannered, you could make a habit of being civil. And you weren't really up when your mother called you. Little lies are such a firm foundation for big ones. You started your day with no plan at all. Looking for your hairbrush? Can't remember where you left it? You forgot other important things today. You meant to fix that collar, but you've gotten into the habit of putting things off. There are so many things you plan to do this coming Saturday or the one after that. Let's see. You found the algebra notebook you lost. The ski pants you meant to put away in the chest. The afghan you started to knit last summer. And, oh yes, the sweater you were looking for. You decided to cover the spots on your sweater with a scarf. You often do that. But you can't forget that the spots are there. If you had a habit plan for your mornings, you might get off to a decent start someday. Helen has a habit plan, and it includes a healthy breakfast and a pleasant word with her parents. All three always enjoyed Mr. Elliott's comments on the news. It was time to get started for office and school. Helen's dad would drop her on the way downtown. And who could ask for a nicer way to go to school? Your brother was ready, but your father couldn't wait for you. Or you could have driven to school with him. He used to enjoy that drive, too. Your eggs were cold this morning, but you had no time to be picky about food or to think about your diet. No time for milk or even to say good morning. No time for manners. You made a pretty picture with your rumpled skirt, your spotted sweater, and your hair in a tizzy. As usual, all your neighbors knew how late it was when you went by at your regular dog trot. You were late for school this morning, but then you're almost always late, and you're guilty about it. More so because your lateness is habitual. You're in a rut with a bad habit, and the longer you stick with the habit, the deeper the rut gets. When you saw Helen, you suddenly felt envious. But more than that, you felt a distaste for your sloppy ways. And you knew you could do something about them if only... That wasn't a happy thought, was it? Or do you always drum with your fingers? You were just chatting away with Helen when it happened, when the day suddenly turned into something special. You've never been friends with Ann Tolliver, and you've always wanted to be.
Hi. Hi. Some of the crowd's coming over to my house right after school. Do you think you two could make it?
Well, that'd be fun, Anne. I'd love to.
Swell. Well, what do you say, Bobby? Sure, thanks. Okay, see you later. Bye.
That'll be fun, won't it?
Oh, yes.
Bye.
Each school year sees new groups forming, old ones reforming. Yours is a changing social world, and the opportunities to be part of it must be taken when they arise. You knew this afternoon that you were making a bad impression, and you knew how easy it is not to be invited again, and how quickly you can be left out of the crowd. You were embarrassed by your messy hair and the fingernails you had neglected to clean. You worried about the spots on your sweater, Barbara. But what really showed up were your habits. You didn't find it very pleasant comparing yourself with the others.
What? I said, what do you think?
You weren't listening. You seldom do. It's a habit of yours.
I guess I don't know much about it.
They were talking about a popular book. All your friends were interested, but you never got into the habit of reading books.
The whole problem was that Claudia wanted to be free to do all the things she'd never been allowed to do.
Well, that was her whole reason for leaving her family. And then she married back to the same kind of life.
Well, that's why I think the book's stupid. Why couldn't she have seen...
No, you added nothing to that conversation.
The trouble with me is getting started. I always have to force myself to do new things.
I'm the same way. I didn't even want to go to my first concert because I thought it would be too long-haired. Oh, but the music is wonderful. I'm going to go to the whole series.
My mother had to drag me to the museum. But they have a wonderful costume exhibit there. I got an idea for a new dress.
Oh, what kind?
You've never taken an interest in music or politics or art.
We always go to the beach. Every year we take a cottage at Esmond.
You've only been once.
There's wonderful swimming and lots of boys. It's quiet where we go. And there are tennis courts at the hotels, too, and dances every weekend. It sounds grand. And it's just a short way to the city.
You couldn't help interrupting, could you? And you couldn't help stretching truth like a rubber band. We all like to talk about ourselves, but a soliloquy isn't a conversation. First, you didn't talk at all, and then you did all the talking. Conversation is a two-way street, but for you, it's either one way or a dead end.
Goodbye. I hope you had a very nice time.
Thank you, I did.
Bye. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Barbara. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Oh, thank you. Bye.
In all society, at all ages, we know that people are going to talk about other people. Unfortunately, our faults are often more discussed than our good points. And sometimes our good points are completely hidden by our faults. But perhaps worst of all is our own disappointment in ourselves and the remarks we imagine our friends are making about us.
Gee, I think dirty fingernails are horrible.
Maybe she felt shy. A spotted sweater isn't shyness. And bad manners are still bad manners no matter what you call them.
Now, in your own room, the memory of this day stands between you and your whole pattern of behavior. Where will you start? Your complexion? That starts with soap and water and goes on to regular meals and the right kind of food. Your hair? It's more than just a shampoo when you happen to think of it. Your clothes? Not just cleaned when your mother takes them away from you, but a system of cleaning. For all a pattern, a network of habits. Helen checks her clothes for cleaning when she takes them off. That's a habit of hers. This morning, Helen took her skirt from the front of the closet. Tonight, she hangs it in the back. That's a habit, too. One on the plus side. It gives clothes a chance to hang, rests the fabric. Tonight, Helen makes a plan for tomorrow. A what to wear, what to do, when to do it, design for living. Helen has the habit of being ready for special days. Good habits save time and energy and give us greater freedom to do those extra things we want to do. Yes, a good start. But these improvements are not yet habits, not by any means. They must happen again and again until they fit into the fabric of the days without conscious thought. If you try, really try, you can root out the poor, accidental habits and establish in their place the good habits approved by custom, accepted by society. Across the street, Helen's light goes out. Reasonable hours are part of her pattern. And you, Barbara? Well, you've had a hard day. But staying awake to think about it won't help it any. Go to bed early for a change. Give yourself a good start on a new day.
Okay, now hope you watched the small video. Give your ideas about these two girls, why the second girl couldn't fully socialize. What are the reasons?
Because she was so lazy, she didn't anytime she haven't any time to explore something.
Okay, others contribute?
She did not plan about tomorrow's day activities, what to
Okay.
do,
Hmm.
and she haven't a good habit.
Okay. Right. Any other who would like to contribute? There are some more.
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, good evening.
Ma'am, I think that girl who's always who's smiling, that positive girl, she has good readiness for her work and she has proper plan and she is well planned and she has good rapport with the family as well as the society. She's associating always, and at the same time, I think she has good acceptance from the friends and the people who get in touch with always, and that gives her morale to get everything like line up for her next day, either next work. I think she has good positive mind for the everything, and because of that reason, she has well planned timetable for the coming work, for the works.
Okay. Then why was that second girl? She was, how can we say, cornered by the groups of friends. So she was not accepted by them. What are the reasons?
One thing, ma'am, I think because of her lifestyle, they are not accepting them, and she doesn't have good that maybe not knowledge actually, but she doesn't have good um, good ways to get in touch with them either. She doesn't have good points to get on with them, like.
Okay. So then because that she was messy and she couldn't mingle with other friends because she knows that she doesn't have proper clothes and they are not fitting to the that occasion, and even that she was not listening. Actually, she was not listening to their conversation, so therefore she couldn't contribute. Then at once she interrupted, and she was continuously talking, so others, they were talking about something else and she didn't know what they were talking, and she interrupted. So therefore she couldn't continue the conversation with the others. So because of other bad habits and not planning for tomorrow, so those are the reasons for her being neglected by the others. So all these things are very much essential for social guidance, right? Okay. Okay, right. So that is about social guidance. Then, okay, we will talk about the next one. Okay, I will share. Okay, this one, providing guidance to childcare providers, right? Okay, before that, is there anybody who has the experience of having, is there anybody who has the experience of having your children in a daycare center? If so, you talk about your experiences. How do they treat your child? Or else if you have heard about a place, also it doesn't matter. How do they treat and what kind of activities they do, the positive things and negative things. Is there anybody who has that kind of experience, or if you have heard about a place? No, no one?
Ma'am, I don't have like much experiences, but in our school, from the preschool side, there was a daycare center. So once and very like once I have visited, then I have seen what they're doing and how they treat the children and how long they're staying there and what are the stuff they have to bring to the daycare and all.
Yes,
and they
okay. Can you explain, can you give a brief introduction about what you have seen and what you experienced there?
Yes, actually, from 7 a.m. the daycare was opened, and like from like 3 years, like they are starting the age, I think 3 years. They're starting, and when the children comes, that parents should bring their clothes, towels, and their breakfast and the lunch both. And at the same time, if the children have some sickness, special sickness, the parents should inform to the daycare centers about the sicknesses and the foods that not suit to the students, kids.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have the timetable for the kids. Some are coming after school, but some are spending the whole day with the daycare assistants. So at that time, according to the daycare, they are having their breakfast by 7:30. Then they have some reading time, like 1 hour like time. At that time, they are trying to reading books and watching some small cartoons, and they are talking about those things. And they have some morning circle kind of. After that, they're having some nap time. Like 1 hour's like time, they have some small napping time. Then after that, they're having some brunch, like small biscuit and some milk or something for the small kids. Then after that, they are going for their lunch time. Before that, they're having good bath, not bath, actually wash.
Okay, then I need to know, how do the teachers treat the children, and how do they train these students? How do they talk to them?
Yes. Actually, ma'am, there are like 5-6 teachers for the morning time. They all are well experienced, and they have experience, and they have certificates and all for that. Especially, they have first aid training also. I have noticed that. And they are very kind to the children. They are like mothers for them, very especially for the small ones.
Okay, right, good. So we will see. So then providing guidance, childcare providers. So now I think now this is a very popular thing. Many of them follow the courses because to migrate to other countries, and they work in daycare centers looking after little ones. So then there are some rules for these people who are taking care of the little ones, right? So then these they should teach some good habits and some rules to these little ones in a manner without hurting them, right? So there are some examples. So they have to teach the children that you have to help each other. The good habits can be taught for the students by these teachers. So you have to tell these little ones, you help each other. Then you have to take care of your toys. Share your toys with others. Use these words like please, thank you, and you must be kind to each other. And these daycare providers should not use should not use negative words with the students. Should not use don't. So instead they can use it in some other ways, like wait, right? So instead of telling them stop running, they can say walk slowly, right? So rather than telling don't touch, they can say come, hold my hand. And even instead of asking don't climb the table, you can say keep your feet on the floor, and it's dangerous if you climb on the table, right? So then rather than telling stop shouting, they can say okay, use a quieter voice, speak softly, right? So then these daycare providers, they have to use simple and short sentences rather than long sentences, because the little ones cannot understand it. So you have to talk to the little ones rather than shouting at them. So that when you're talking, talk to their eyes. That having eye contact is very, very important, right? So when you ask a question, give them enough time to respond, right? So let's watch another video, a small 1-minute one.
very challenging to teach how they're together.
What happened? Fix it. How can I do that? Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, anyway, that I will show you after this, right? Okay, I couldn't get it back. Okay, then these children mostly learn by observing. So they observe, they imitate, right? Therefore, the daycare providers also have to behave in such a manner that these little ones to follow. They should their manners, the way of their behavior, the way they talk to others, so that they have to follow the right behavior and right manner. So then the daycare providers also can encourage the children to behave in the well manner. Okay. Then children must be given simple and clear instructions, and special thing is they should not be forced to do things. What will happen if you ask little ones, even by force, if you force these children, what do? What is their behavior? They do it in a negative manner, right? If you force them to do something, they do it in the negative manner, right? They do the other thing. So there you have to show the respect to the children. They should not be punished, right? And even if you want to advise a child for something they have done, it should not be done in front of the others. So you can talk to the child in a friendly manner and teach the child about what the wrong thing the child has done, right? Okay. The other thing is children should be appreciated for their good behavior. So even if they have done a small thing, the teachers, the daycare providers can appreciate them. Great, you have done a good job. You helped your friend, right? So that's a very good habit. So then we can encourage them to continue the good work, right? It's called a positive reinforcement. It's a kind of rewarding for the child. So then we have to encourage all the time for the children to behave in the right and positive manner. So then daycare providers must be good coaches. That means they are good teachers, they are good coaches, they are good guides, and teach children what is right and what is wrong, and teach them social skills. Now we saw that one girl, that why she couldn't move with the others, because she lacked social skills and good manners. So that we can teach children social skills and good manners using play-way method. What do you mean by play-way method? Play-way method using games. We can teach them games to, we can use games to teach them good manners and social skills. Right. Then we should teach them say sorry, right, if they make a mistake. Right. Then we have to help them to change their behavior. Sometimes they behave badly at home, but at the daycare center we have to teach them to change their behavior in the right manner. So then daycare givers should not use the negative tone. They should not use negative tone to correct the behavior of the children. They should be very kind. As your friend said, use kind words, show kindness to them, show that they are accepted, right? So even if they have some wrong behavior at home, so they will get them corrected once they are in this daycare center. Okay. Right. So now see whether I can play it. Okay, found finally.
It can be very challenging to teach.
What is that? Okay, can you hear and see?
Ma'am, we can't clearly hear.
Okay, wait, we'll see what's wrong. Now?
No, only we can see, ma'am.
Okay, see, you can't
Yeah. Oh, okay.
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 I cannot hear it.
Okay, wait. You can't hear?
I cannot hear it. I don't know what that is.
How about the others?
So I also can't hear, ma'am.
Okay, wait. I think I have not shared sound. You hear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
It can be very challenging to teach toddlers manners. I certainly can attest to this as the mom of an 18-month-old, but It is possible, and here's how. First, teach your children how to say one-syllable words like please or help. So instead of screaming, they use these words. Second, you can begin to explore the concept of sharing. It will take practice, but it's possible. Teach your child not to grab things from other children and start to teach them how to take turns. Finally, it's important to establish good table manners. Make sure that your child is seated in his or her high chair at the table. And as often as you possibly can, sit down and have dinner or any meal with your child. It's important to establish a dining routine. Start with these 3 manners at home and you're already off to a good start.
Okay, right. Then we will go for a question because we are starting counseling. Now we had been studying guidance up to now, right? So we are going to learn about counseling. Now, we will go to a question. Okay. Wait. Okay, right, form. Right. Now there's a question. Sunil's father is dead and his mother doesn't have a permanent job. He who studies in grade 11 always says the need of finding a job and ask about them. Number 1, name 4 services that can be given to school pupil through vocational guidance. Number 2, state in brief 4 qualitative characteristics expected from employees in the present world of work. Number 3, present the steps in order that should be followed when starting a school vocational guidance unit in the school. Right. So is the question clear or do you have anything to be clarified? I'm going to give you a group activity. Is the question clear or you want me to clarify it? Hello, speak.
Ma'am, what do you mean by the services there?
That means now if we consider about the guidance, that means vocational guidance, I have discussed with you what kind of services can be given. I have discussed it with you. What are the things? Making them aware about the courses, about the job opportunities, then about the training, how to find jobs, either in the newspapers, in the internet. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Right. So I will put you into groups that there are, I think 8. I will put you into 3 groups and
Ma'am,
yes,
excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Will you please explain the third question?
Right. Present the steps in order that should be followed. Wait. Present the steps in order that should be followed when starting a school vocational guidance unit in the school. Right now, imagine now you want to, most most of the time, we don't have this service in our schools. Therefore, there may be children who are dropping out school when they are in grade 8 due to certain economical problems or some other problems. And there are some children who drop out school from grade 11, but they drop out school without knowing anything. So sometimes they may drive a 3-wheel, or else they may go for some garage or something, that without any training, they will go for any other job. But they don't know, even without these qualifications, they can join technical colleges. There are some vocational training institutes, so they don't know about these things. So the steps that you can use, that means the steps that can be followed when starting a school vocational guidance unit in the school. The first thing, second thing, third thing. So you can discuss. I will tell you what they are. Even we discuss with your friends and come to a conclusion. Okay? Okay, Pata? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I will give you the answers, don't worry, right? So just discuss with your friends right now. It's how long do you need? 15 minutes or 10 minutes? Shall I give you 10 minutes? Okay, now it's 10 minutes to 8 o'clock. I will, so you can work until 8:05, right? Okay, I'll put you into groups quickly. Can you take a screenshot of this?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, right. So room 1, Rausna, Tarani, then room 2, Iresha, Sevanti, Sudisha, room 3, Nigla, Fatima, and Taranga Liengi, right? Okay. Uta, didn't you get your breakout rooms? Hello?
Can you put me down? I think I was on 3.
Okay. Wait. Only 2 have joined. Your Tarani?
Taranga. I think I was in 3.
Ah, right. Okay. You're not joined. Eh?
Yeah.
Join. Taranga. Okay, doesn't matter. So there are 2 of them. Who are these 2? Okay, you and myself, right? Okay, I'll put you into that group. How can that be? So were you not in that group, or what happens that you just Taranga, what happened to you? Hello, Taranga. You went there. Parvin, were you removed from the group?
Being faithful, being relevance. Those things also can be stated, right? Being relevance.
Okay, great. Shall we discuss? Let me share the screen again. Right. Okay, Sunil's father is dead and his mother doesn't have a permanent job. He who studies in grade 11 always says the need of finding a job and asks about them. Number 1, name 4 services that can be given to a school pupil through vocational guidance. Tell me 4 services that can be given to a school pupil through vocational guidance. Now you have to think of this, Sunil, also. Group 1, give me your answers.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
It's like a career guidance can be given, a proper training for the jobs. Also, a guidance could be given for for proper choices of courses. Also, it's supposed to develop his personality.
Okay. Right.
So,
Okay. Group 2, what's your answer for the part 1? Group 2 members. Group 2 members are missing. Okay. Then group 3.
Providing opportunity. Yeah.
Group 2, are you, wait, Putha. Group 2, are you going to give your answer? Okay, group 3. Group 3, you can continue.
Yeah, providing like opportunity to enhance the awareness of the availability of the vocational training, the institutes and areas that you can learn, like giving more chances to know about it through the social media or person to person.
Okay.
And introducing the technical institutes, like in several institutes that we have in Sri Lanka, and introducing those who skilled people to the children, like bring them to school and having some awareness campaigns.
Yes, good.
And even can give guidance through the resource person or teachers, what they can choose, like to choose the correct training that they want to go through.
Right. Okay. Right. So then we can help the child to select a profession. So first of all, we can make him aware about, we can have a discussion with the child. So what are you good at? What are your interests? So what are the skills that you have? So accordingly, we can help him to select a profession. Maybe that the child is good at, he's interested in doing carpentry or welding work, automobile. So then we can discuss with the child and help him to select a profession. Then, so we have to prepare him for job by giving information, such as we can give information about the institutes where they can follow the courses, what are the courses available, the qualifications required for these courses. And once the courses are completed, what kind of qualifications are gained and what kind of jobs are available for these qualifications. Then we can develop professional attitudes. That means now when you go for a job, you have to work in a team, right? So you have to share your knowledge with them, and then you can work together in a team if you want to work in an institute or in a place. And you always have to work for the development of the institute. Not against it. Always work for the development of the institutes. Work hard. Work with positive attitudes. Love your job. Don't take leave unnecessarily. Don't neglect your responsibility. So we have to develop professional attitudes in the child. Then help him to prepare future professional plans. So now you can go for this course and follow this within this period. Then you can go for a training, right? Then apply for jobs. So like that then you can do more courses or training and go for higher positions. So we can ask him to prepare a future professional plan. Okay, we'll go to question number 2. State in brief 4 qualitative characteristics expected from employees in the present world of work. What are the 4 qualitative characteristics expected from employees in the present world of work? Okay, tell group 1, what is your answer?
Help each other.
Help each other.
Punctuality.
Punctuality, that is very, very important. Punctuality.
Hardworking.
Working hard.
Be kind and help others.
Okay, be kind and help others.
Be empathize with others.
Yeah, empathetic.
Be loyalty.
Be loyalty.
That's all.
Okay, that's great. Group 2, what's your answer?
She or he should have a knowledge about company management and cooperation, efficiency, trust, punctuality, positive mind, and he or she should be a researcher, multiple sources of duty, and creativeness. It is very important. I will explain further details on creativeness. If the employee can create a creative person, he or she can convert any good or bad, bad mean bankrupt situation, to a rebuild and get a profit. If a qualitative character not limited to a company or 4 walls of a room, he or she may be an all-rounder. When she is traveling, eating, watching, doing something, he may create innovators to his mind.
Okay.
That's my...
Very good. Yes. Okay. Third group.
Yeah, madam. Teamwork and collaboration.
Good.
In the sense skill development, flexibility and adaptability. Adapted with surrounding environment, with the people, society, likewise. Accepting changes of the situation, facing problem in more suitable ways, problem solving skill.
Okay.
Effectiveness and efficiency work.
Okay, good. So all 3 groups that you presented, brilliant. Okay, then you can add, yes, as you said, work with positive attitude towards a profession. So always should have a good attitude rather than telling, oh, I hate it, I don't like to work in that place. Rather than that, you can tell, okay, I love the job, I want to improve myself, want to learn something more. I want to develop my institute. I want to see its progress, right? So then work with time management. It's very, very important. So without delaying anything, work with good time management. Then work cooperatively, as you said, you have to work in a team, we work cooperatively, and work with professional discipline. That's very, very important. The discipline you maintain, right? So since we don't have professional discipline, we have lots of problems now, because you tell different tales to the leaders and they break the relationship. So we should not do that, right? Okay, good. You have got very good ideas. Shall we go to the third part? Present the steps in order that should be followed when starting a school vocational guidance unit in the school. What are the steps you discussed? So when you ask me, I did not give the answer, because when I tell the answer, that's the answer. That's why I wanted you to think. Group 1, what is your answer?
Ma'am, first of all, the school has to talk to the principal about their request. Then find the proper vocational training institute.
Okay.
Then we can write, or we can send a mail, or we can have a meeting with them, and we can explain our requirement. Then we can create a group at school to work on that. I mean, like to coordinate the things with the relevant group at the institute. And we can make a proper parents meeting about it, and we can inform to the parents and the students what we are going to have. Then as a first step, we can have a small workshop for the students. Then we can follow the other things.
Good, good. That's great. It's a good idea. Second group? Second group?
After establishment of the vocational centers, the school, it should be categorized according to the willingness of the students. Some students have some inborn talents. electrician side and receiving any other side, we should categorize it. Then any students can select their vocational training according to their favors.
Okay, good. Third group. Third group.
Hi. First, like need to study the requirements of the students. Like they will can have a like study of the children's. What are the areas that we need in the vocational studies in the school? Because we cannot have everything in one school. Like so, we need to have a kind of study. In general, we can choose what we can do. So then we can analyze it and find what exactly we are going to do in school, like which areas we are going to cover.
Okay.
Then we can inform the teacher. Then principal. Then we can contact to the relevant institute or the government units for that. Then we can establish it and we can relevant to then there are approvals and all this process goes on. And then we can have students, like first we can have awareness campaigns in different areas. Then they can have they can choose what they like, what they're skilled for.
Okay, good. That's great. So then, first of all, we have to find a place in the school to establish this. Therefore, the first thing is we have to discuss with the principal about the need. So you can convince the principal. Now here, there are some students who drop out school before completing their O-level examination. Some drop out after completing. So therefore, we need a place to make the student aware about these vocational institutes and make them aware about professions, world of work. So after getting the approval from the consent from the principals, you can get permission from the zonal office or the Ministry of Education to establish this unit in the school. So without that, you can't do. So after that, you can make the teachers aware about your need, that you're going to have a vocational guidance unit in the school. Then you can make the parents aware, then you can make the children aware, then you can start the counseling unit. And after that, now you need resources, as you said, that you can invite some of the experts in different fields. You can get them and organize guidance workshops, vocational career guidance workshops to make the students aware about different courses, the qualifications needed. Once they complete, what are the qualifications they can gain, what kind of training they can undergo, where they can find training. So all these things, right? Okay, good. You have very good ideas. You have done a great job. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Right, it's counseling. Now we had been talking about all this time about guidance. Now we have come to the next most important topic, that is counseling, right? So even that counseling, what's the special word we use for counseling rather than guidance? That's a special word. It's a professional service. It's a professional. We don't use professional for guidance. Guidance can be given by anybody, but counseling cannot be given by anybody because they need a professional training, right? A professional person, a person with a training, counseling training only can give counseling to the clients, right? So counseling is a professional service provided to an individual who is facing a problem. And when he needs the help to overcome the problem, he goes for a professional counselor. So then, counseling is considered to be an integral and central part of guidance. It's a part of guidance, right? Integral. Guidance. That is, counseling is an integral and central part of guidance. Then, in counseling, do we give ready-made answers, ready-made solutions to the person who seeks help?
No, ma'am.
No.
What do we do then?
Let's support him to find out the root cause of the problem.
Then
let them to realize where's the problem and get the corrective action from themselves.
That's good. Yes. So then the process of counseling helps an individual to find solutions to the problem by him or herself. First, we make him aware about the problem. Sometimes they can't identify the problem, right? So then, first of all, we make them aware of the problem that they have. Then we show the paths the child can find solutions to the problem. So we don't find solution. Now in guidance, sometimes we find solutions. Now as an example, maybe that you're searching for a job. Then maybe that your relative or your siblings say, okay, why don't you apply for this College of Education? Now it has been gazetted. You have all the qualifications, so apply for that. So you give solution to the problem, right? So then sometimes the child is suffering from the problem. So now I have passed my O-levels, these are my results and these are my interests. So I am in a trouble of selecting the stream for my A-levels. My mother is interested in this and father is interested in this and I am interested in this. So how can I find the best stream? So they will guide you. So why don't you do it? Because don't consider about others' interest, but consider about your interest. And so if you're interested in commerce, you follow commerce. So like that, they can give guidance. But counseling is not like that. Everybody cannot give counseling. Yes, Bhuta?
Miss, I think Erasure is waiting. Can you let her in? She's in, because I got a message from her.
Okay,
she cannot join. Yeah.
Let me take her. I don't know whether I have to stop sharing in order to take her. I can't see. I hear that I can't do that because the host is Mr. Richard. What can I do? I'll send him a message. Do you have his number? Okay, I'll send. Right, okay. I sent him a message. Right, then. So then we don't give ready-made solutions to the person who seeks help, but we help him to understand his problem. First, we help him to understand himself, understand his problem, and we help him to find solutions by showing different paths, right? So in counseling, there are two important people. Who are these two important people?
Counselee and the counselor.
Yes, yes. What's the other word for counselee? Counselee is the one who gets counseling. That is client. Right? Counselor is the person who gives counseling. Counselee or the client is the person who gets counseling. Okay, that's good. So then counselor is the professional who offers counseling service to the client. So he has undergone a training. He has followed a course. So then he has the right, he can help the counselee or the client. Right. So there are so many definitions about counseling. Okay. One of you read the first definition. You don't need to remember all these things, right? So you can prepare, so you can have your idea about counseling. Okay. One of you read the first definition by Belie and Andrew.
Counseling involves two individuals, one seeking help and other professionally trained person help solve problems to orient and direct him or her towards goals.
Okay, counseling involves two individuals. Who are these two individuals? one seeking help, that is client, and the other is the professionally trained person. So he helped the client to solve the problem or direct him or her towards his goal. Okay, another one. Read the second definition about by Wren.
Ma'am, can I read?
Okay, Mother.
Counseling is a dynamic and purposeful relationship between two people who approach a mutually defined problem with mutual consideration for each other to end to the end that the younger or less matured or more troubled of the two is aided to a self-determined resolution of his problem.
Okay, so counseling is a dynamic, very active and purposeful relationship. There's a purpose of giving a counseling between two people. So they approach mutually defined problem. That means they have a they are discussing about previously discussed problem or a problem, and so that it gives it helps the client to find solution to his or her problem. Okay, next one. Who would like to read the third one?
Counseling is.
Shall I? Okay, read.
Counseling is helping a person to come to see who he really is, what he has and does not have, what he can do easily, what he can do with difficulty, and what he cannot do at all. It is a close sharing of a human relationship with one who has for him a high regard, one who can offer him unconditional acceptance, but one who has no guarantees, no answers.
Okay, right. We'll go to the next one. Okay, next one, somebody else. Okay, even if you have read earlier, doesn't matter.
Counseling is a purposeful,
reciprocal
relationship between two people in which a trained person helps the other to change himself or his environment.
Okay, counseling is a purposeful, reciprocal relationship between two people in which a trained person helps the other to change himself or his environment. So we can see whether the counseling is successful by observing the change of behavior of the client. So client's behavior is changed if he has got the correct counseling, right? So that the special thing is trained person, professional counselor. So he helps the client to change the behavior or his environment, right? Okay, another one. Next definition. It doesn't matter if you have read before.
Okay, madam. Counseling is a dynamic and purposeful relationship between the people in which procedures vary with the nature of the student's need, but in which there is always mutual participation by the counselor and the students with the focus of self-classification and self-determination by the students.
Right, okay. Right, there's another one. Okay, read. It doesn't matter if you have read before.
Yeah, ma'am, I will read this.
Okay.
Counseling is an interaction process which facilitates meaningful understanding of self and environment and result in the establishment or clarification of goals and values for future behavior.
Right, okay. Counseling is an interaction process. So it's an interaction between counselor and the client, which facilitates meaningful understanding of self, right? First of all, that counselor gives self-understanding to the client, an environment. So now maybe that that environment has made him to have this problem. And first of all, he make him understand about the client and about the environment he has and the result in the establishment of clarification of goals. So he clarifies the goals and values for future behavior. Okay, next one.
I will read.
Counseling is a process by which a troubled person client is helped to tell and behave in a more personally satisfying manner through interaction with an uninvolved person counselor who provide information and reaction which stimulate the clients to develop behavior which enable him to deal more effectively with himself and his environment.
Right. Counseling is a process by which a troubled person, okay, the client is helped to tell and behave in a more personally satisfying manner, right? So then in counseling, so it's an interaction between the counselor and the client. So they have interviews. So the counselor encourage the client to tell his problem, right? Through interaction with an uninvolved person. So who provides information and reactions which stimulates the client to develop behavior which enable him to deal more effectively with himself and his environment, right? So I want you to read all these because you can select the best definition. Iresha is still in the breakout room. Sorry. Wait,
No, ma'am. I have joined now.
Okay, okay. Right. Right. So then, which enable him or her to deal more effectively with himself and his environment. So I want you to read all these definitions because then you can select the best one if you are asked to write a definition, or else you can create your own definition, right? Okay. Next one. Right. Counseling is a two-way process that involves two individuals. Who are these two individuals?
Client and counselor.
Client and the counselor, right? Who is the counselor?
Who's providing professional service.
Yes, a counselor is a professionally trained person to provide counseling to the clients. And professionally trained is very, very important, these two words, right? So then counseling is a two-way process that involves two individuals and mutual cooperation between them. So they have the mutual cooperation. Counseling enables an individual to gain self-understanding and self-acceptance so that the trained counselor gives him understanding about himself, about his environment, and to understand his problem. So thereby the client develops self-acceptance. The aim of counseling is same as guidance. What is the aim? What's the aim of guidance? What's the main aim of guidance? Total personality development. So the aim of counseling is also total personality development. So counseling helps an individual adjust to his or her environment and conditions. So finally, it enables the client to lead a happy life, right? So if maybe that the counselor has some problems in adjusting to the environment, so therefore he can't spend a happy life. So then counselor or counseling helps the individual to adjust to his environment in order for him to lead a happy life. Counseling is a process that involves giving information, advice, and counseling. Sometimes we have to give information, sometimes we have to give advice, and most importantly, counseling. Right. Counseling cannot be considered as judgmental. We can't judge people. Now, as an example, imagine now you get a child who is the most notorious case in the school, very stubborn and doesn't listen to anybody, and father is engaging in illicit liquor, selling. So then there are so many bad things about this child. So when this child comes to you to get the service, you can't have prejudgment about the child. Oh, මේකට මොන counseling ද මේක තමයි මේ කියන නරකම ළමයා මේ ස්කෝලේ ඉන්න මේ ළමයට මොන counseling තාත්තා මෙහෙමයි අම්මා මෙහෙමයි අක්කලා අයියලා මෙහෙමයි. So we should not have judgments when giving counseling. So everybody is equal to you if you are a counselor, if you are giving counseling to children, right? So you can't have judgments. Restricted to giving advice. So now here we usually give information. We give, we encourage the client to tell his problem and thereby help him to understand it and find solutions. We don't attempt to solve problems. Counselor doesn't attempt to solve problems. He only facilitates the client to find solutions. The three main activities that make up counseling are informing. Counselor gives information to the client. Advising. Counselor suggesting the right course of action that must be taken to solve the problem. He doesn't give the advice, just do this and do that. He suggests the things that the client can do to solve the problem. Counseling, helping the client understand his or her need and provide necessary help for the client to take the right decision. Okay. Counseling entails assisting a person. Counseling means assisting a person, helping a person, so that individual can face any challenging situation with a positive frame of mind. So that means, now if you give counseling to a person and if you help him to solve that problem, right? Now imagine a child comes to you with a problem, you help him to identify the problem and identify the environment, root cause, and you help him to find the way of solving the problem. Then when he finds future problems also, he will use the same method to overcome them, so that individual can face any challenging situation with a positive frame of mind. Next one. Counseling helps to alleviate negative responses to a problem. So then sometimes when we have a problem, we feel no use of living now. The only solution is to getting rid of this world. So sometimes you may also might have felt, right? So you may have felt to give up certain things. So like that. So counseling has to alleviate negative responses. Even ethical counseling. So there's no something called that negative, right? And enables an individual to overcome the problem. Okay, now summary. Counseling is a mutual relationship between two people. Who are they? Yeah, who are they?
The client and the counselor.
Yeah. Who is a counselor?
Who is giving professional services.
Trained person. Professional trained.
Yeah, he's a professionally trained person. He gives professional counseling. So then there's a discussion between these two people. There are so many interviews, right? So they interact with each other to help the client, right? Counseling is a face-to-face relationship. So they meet and the counselor, sometimes the client tells his or her problem, or sometimes when the child is not telling the problem, counselor asks questions to get the problem out. It has a professional aspect, right? So then we'll go to the next part. Areas of counseling. So there are so many areas of counseling: educational counseling, social counseling, psychology counseling, individual counseling, trauma counseling, career counseling, family counseling. There are so many areas. So before going to all, we'll come to the most important thing, educational counseling. So why do we need to give counseling for educational problems? Because there are educational problems. Students during their school years, they face several problems related to education and learning and teaching process. Okay, we discussed these problems. Tell me if you remember, what are these problems? What are these educational problems the children have? We discussed. Okay, if you remember, tell me.
Some students have family background problems and special needs students. Punishment also may be a problem to some students in secondary ages.
Yes. What else?
Language issues.
Language
Selecting the subjects. Tough timetable. Heavy workload. Punishment from the teachers.
Okay. Okay, right. So then sometimes poor memory power. So then when they can't remember things, when they can't keep in their memory, it causes badly for their learning teaching process. And there are some teachers who favor some students. So though the students are very clever, they work hard, they don't give much attention to them, and they have some favorites, some pets. So it's also not good. Then some of them have stage phobia. They are so scared to present things, go forward, take opportunities. Right? There are some students with stage phobia. Then there are some students with exam phobia. They are so scared of exams. They can't even. I also had this exam phobia when I was even. I had been doing so many exams. Still, I have that exam phobia. Right? So I remember when I was doing my first degree, I couldn't eat. So can't eat. I had a fever, and sometimes after sitting, I can't write for the paper for several minutes, 5-6 minutes. I can't write for the questions. So I had the exam phobia. So that tough timetable, heavy content, heavy workload, then poor teaching methodologies. Sometimes the teachers use lecture method. You don't like that teaching method, so it's boring, right? You can't understand. Then punishments by teachers. Lack of motivation for studies. Maybe that parents don't motivate you, teachers don't motivate the students, so they may be the educational problems, right? So such problems, even that there may be some problems for the children with difficulties in certain areas, mathematics, science, what is?
Languages.
Yes, problem with the language, right? Then what are the other things? Okay, right. Then educational counseling provides workshops and special programs. Now, sometimes that if you have exam phobia, they give special workshops. That school organizes special workshops by inviting some experts, and they teach you how to manage time, how to select questions. So first you start with the questions that are easy for you, save time for the other questions. So like that, they teach you how to some shortcuts on doing the papers, right? They have workshops before the exam. They have special programs. Then help students to learn study skills and life skills. So how to create a timetable and how to work to this timetable. So life skills means that certain skills that we need, as we discussed in PTS, practical technical skills. So like that, there are certain life skills that we have to learn. Help students to set achievable goals, right? So we discussed about that. So there are some students who have some high hopes, high goals that they can't reach. As an example, a child wants to be an engineer, but he's very poor in mathematics. So a person who is poor in mathematics, can he become an engineer? So then if he works hard, he will be able to. So then we have to help the students to have set achievable goals and help with decisions. So help with decisions means that like selecting A-level streams. Then counselors support the client in their academic success. such as to overcome exam phobia, anxiety, or procrastination. What is procrastination? What do you mean by procrastination? Postponing things. There are some students who always postpone things. Okay, I will do tomorrow. I will do next week. Then what happens? Finally, it is postponed forever. And so when the exam is tomorrow, they are trying to learn all these things within one day. What they have learned for a long period of time, they are trying to learn within one day. Right then, counsel also should be guides, right? Supports, guides the client in understanding and interpreting educational problems. So then sometimes they don't understand, they have a problem. So then counselor helps the client to understand his problem and interpret the problem. I have this problem, help karana. Okay. Right. Next one, family counseling. Right. So then, tell me, what are the family, why do family needs counseling? What are the reasons for taking family counseling? Just tell. Who need family counseling?
Family members.
Because some members do face some problems in their married life.
Okay.
That's why we need family counseling.
Okay. Sometimes even before the marriage, now even that, so during, now maybe that during their love life also, if they have problems, before the marriage, they can go for the counselor, right? Rather than getting married with the problems, so you can solve the problems. Before the marriage, you can go for a counselor, right? And get help. So then family counselors are there to help solve the problems they have in their families, right? Such as, so okay, it's a psychotherapy. It's a treatment. So it may help to promote better relationships and understanding within a family, right? Sometimes they have problems due to very minute things. They don't discuss the problems. If they discuss, they can outburst their sorrows, their feelings. But when they don't discuss, when they harbor them, when they hide them, so the problem swell, excel. Therefore, the best thing is to discuss. So then sometimes when they can't discuss among themselves, they can go for a counselor. The counselor listen to them, let them understand their problem and help them to solve the problem. Then it may be incidents specific as divorce, death of a family member. Sometimes certain divorces, one member cannot bear it up. Death of family member, they can't bear it up. Did you hear that recently an incident was happened? A 34-year gent was killed by hitting from helmets by some rowdies. Did you hear that pathetic incident?
Yes, ma'am.
So then what will happen to this wife? She's undergoing an agony, undergoing a sorrowful situation. I don't know, how can she manage that? So then sometimes they may need to go to a family counselor. So when a family member suffers from physical or mental illness that affect him or her in a negative way, they may happen to go to a family counselor. Then family counselors handle such problems and provide necessary solutions to the problems. Right? Provide necessary solutions means that provide the paths, the necessary solutions. Anyway, family counselors help them to find solutions to the problems. Okay, we'll go to the next one, the last one. Right, that is psychological counsel. Tell me, what are the psychological problems children may have? Okay, tell me, what are psychological problems? Okay, this tell me.
About the appearance.
About the appearance. Okay. Right. Sometimes. Okay. Yes, Steph.
Yeah, problems with the peers and the classmates.
Problem with the
Maybe,
peers. Yes,
yeah,
and the
maybe
classmates.
some,
Okay. What else?
maybe some relation problems. Some have.
Oh, okay. Breaking up of relationships that may cause psychological problems. Yes. And I know a child that who has undergone a psychological problem because now due to a relationship and some friends have humiliated her. So as a result, she said that she felt very ashamed because they humiliated her badly. So as a result that she couldn't do her even her O-levels. Now she's suffering from depression, still taking medicine. So therefore, you have to tell your students not to humiliate others, right? That sometimes that causes them to undergo psychological problems. Even I remember there was a girl who was having this depression, that one day when she was going on a trip with some friends, so her trouser has that little big the legs, that means the trouser legs were a little bit bigger, unusually bigger than the others. So they had laughed at her, humiliated her. So that has caused her to have depression and taking medicine for a long period of time. So sometimes some students, they can't bear up certain things. Therefore, even a minute thing may change her mental capacity. So therefore, you have to teach our children not to bully or humiliate others. So it may cause them to undergo depression, anxiety, and some psychological problems, right? So then, psychology counseling helps to handle relationships. Sometimes because of certain relationships, they have psychological problems, so they help them to handle relationships in a proper manner. Help them deal with stress and other pressures. Sometimes when they can't bear up the workload or pressures, they undergo psychological problems. So they help to resolve fears, certain fears, phobias, anxiety. When they can't cope with family problems, they undergo psychological problems. When they can't work difficult situations, they undergo psychological problems like that death of a loved ones, a closed family member, right? Then they help to work through depression and sadness, to develop creativity, self-exploration. They find about themselves, their strengths and weaknesses, and find path for self-discovery. Psychology counseling aims to manage the difficulties and transform personal problems into personal growth, right? Because of certain problems that they undergo. Psychological problems, rather than that, psychology counseling help them to convert them to their growth. Negative things that they can turn them into personal growth. Then, next one. It will help people to keep relationships, deal with stress and other pressures, right? Like now, even with the peers, there are some peers, because of the peers, they have undergone psychological problems. So it will help people to keep relationship with loved ones, peers, and deal with stress and other pressures. So that psychology counseling is very, very important, because there are many in the society who have psychological problems. So you know that very recently there were so many deaths reported. One is a counseling, though he is a third-year student in the Peradeniya University. He's giving counseling lectures that he has a YouTube channel also, but finally he was suffering from depression without telling anybody. He killed himself. There are so many cases. So therefore, when you have a problem, don't harbor it. Don't conceal it. Reveal it to somebody, a reliable person. So at least revealing the problem itself is a therapy. It's a kind of therapy. So therefore, when you are dealing with students, tell them. When they have a problem, tell that to if they can't tell it to parents or siblings or relatives, ask them to tell it to a reliable person. So they tell it to a reliable person and find solutions to the problems, because death is not the solution for anything. So once you decide to die, you can't turn back. So that's a grave, the grave mistake, deciding to kill oneself is. So then teach your students, there are solutions for every problem. So therefore, killing, that means committing suicide, is not the solution. It's a coward act. So then finding solutions for the problem is the most important thing. So I saw on the Facebook. So living is a kind of answering a question paper. Different people get different question papers. That's true. The question I have are not the questions that Tarani has. So we have different questions. We are answering these questions until we die. So that is life. We have questions, we are answering, we overcome the problems, we face the problems, we face the challenges, and we win. That's life. So, okay. So when you become teachers, you teach your students to think about the life in a positive manner. Okay. So we'll continue. The next week. Okay. If you have anything, any problems up to now, just I can clarify. Ask if you have anything that you did not understand. No problems? You have better understanding, or you did not understand? Did you understand that what I discussed up to now?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, right. Okay, then we'll meet next day. Thank you for joining. And don't worry about these big definitions. So you can, if you want, you can by heart a small one. Okay, or you can create your own definition for counseling and as well as guidance. Okay, okay. See you next day. Good night to you all.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
ma'am. Good night.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.